the divinity residing in us. So that makes us divine also, and we have to do divine things, divine actions as humans in the world. We have to help the needy, but not with the perspective that I'm helping a needy, but with the thought that I'm reaching out to my own brother and sister, because God is also residing in the other person who needs that supporting hand. So similarly, if I'm taking care of the ecology, I'm not doing anything to help the ecology, but I'm simply expressing my gratitude towards the divinity residing in rivers and mountains and earth and plants and so on. So that is the role and place of humans that is coming from the same philosophy that everything is divine. I hope I'm not going on and on. Yeah.
No. If the humans are divine by nature, then would it be true to say then nature is also divine or of divine origin?
Yes.
And is there a history in India of the worship of nature?
Oh yeah, going at least 3,000 years. Every scripture, every text of Hinduism has some hymns, or almost every hymn has some natural elements in which they sing, they revere the sun, they revere the fire, revere the sky, revere the wind, and the five major elements itself are all divine, and all those five major elements come from the Brahman. Brahman is the most fundamental element, the divine element, which is very similar to the word God in Western religion. So the Brahman gives rise to the space gives rise to the wind and to the fire and to the land, and these five elements are all connected to the Brahman. Then so everything is divine in that order itself. And then those five elements are also reflected in human body. So earth is reflected in our body. The sky is connected with mind. Sun and moon are connected with our eyes. So human body is a microcosm of the macrocosm universe. So humans are not separated or distinct from the universe. They are all connected. They are the mere reflection of the universe. So that's another divine connection between the humans and the nature, the ecology, the universe. Then so even in the rituals in the temples, no ritual can be imagined without some use of some leaves, some fruit, some honey, some yogurt, some fire. So it's all very, very well integrated with the natural elements, and so on.
Well, that's very interesting. Thank you for that answer. There's a lot going on in my head right now. What you mentioned before regarding, for example, the book of Genesis. If we are created in the image of God, and male and female, He created them. Of course, that can be accepted then, in India. By the Hindu faith, as well as as you say, the continuing saints that emerge. Are you familiar with the Canticle of Creatures by St. Francis of Assisi?
Yes, St. Francis of Assisi. I think
yes.
He saw divinity also in nature and animals and so on. Yes, definitely.
Yes, he had the same kind of praise be to brother sun, sister moon, brother fire, sister air. It's one of his one of the greater poems or prayers he wrote in the Christian tradition, and there's a similarity there as well. So now, how has, other than the rituals in the temples, or in terms of bringing things to temples, how else has this reverence of nature been expressed, perhaps by different groups, or throughout the years? Has it become more public and not just in the temples?
Yeah, that's such a wonderful question, and that's the whole research that I did for my first book, which just came out last month, in which I, exactly like you asked, I was also looking for some concrete examples in which Hindus took these teachings away from, beyond their temples and rituals, and they did something concrete for the ecology. And I did find 2-3 major examples. So this word tree hugger has sometimes it becomes a bit of a joke when I mention this word in my classes that some Hindus are tree huggers, and my students just start laughing. I don't know why this word has become kind of a joke, but the first tree huggers that ever existed in our
first tree huggers that ever existed.
First tree huggers were not in. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So tree huggers, this word really comes from, there was a movement called Chipko movement. Chipko means hugging. So in 1970s in North India, some women literally hugged the trees to save those trees from poachers and hunters and government people who were coming to cut down those trees. So that's in 1970s, and this Chipko movement became worldwide. This word itself became worldwide phenomenon. They are very well known, the leaders Sundarlal Bahuguna and so on. But if you go back 2-3 centuries in India also, I found in my research that there was this community called Bishnoi, Bishnoi, and Bishnois were actually the real true first tree huggers of the world. In 1730s, they were living in a very small village in Rajasthan. It's a small desert state on the border of India and Pakistan. Today is India and Pakistan. But in 1730s, there were some soldiers from a nearby king who wanted some firewood. So they arrive in this Bishnoi village and start cutting down the trees. And because their founding guru, the Bishnoi Guru Jambheshwar, had given these 29 rules of protecting all trees and all animals and birds and so on, the first woman to rise up against the soldiers her name was Amrita Devi. And she goes and literally hugs her sacred tree, Khejarli tree. The name Khejarli is theirs in their language they use. So she was immediately killed by the soldiers. And in taking inspiration from Amrita Devi's example, more than 300 Bishnoi men, women and children, they all sacrificed their lives to save those trees. So that is the kind of practice to that extreme. This one example shows us that Bishnoi people, very consciously they try to protect their natural resources. That's one major example. That became the major focus of my research. Yeah.
Now, Pankaj, thank you for that example. That's a very very moving example. Were these particular trees, was this of the Bishnoi, was it just any trees, or was this a special forest, or how were they perceived?
Right. So it's a desert community living in a desert like we have in this country, also in Arizona. In India, there is one state called Rajasthan, on the border of India and Pakistan, which has like 40% of the land is completely desert. So in for the desert ecology, this tree, Khejarli tree, is very, very important even for economy, even for the dairy industry. Because from the Khejarli leaves, the animals survive, and from animals the economy survives. Whatever fragile economy that is, it survives all because of Khejarli tree. So the founding Guru Jambheshwar, when he founded this new community, Bishnoi, and as I was saying in the beginning, Guru Jambheshwar has become almost of a god for this Bishnoi people. So they have their own shrines in which they have the images of Guru Jambheshwar himself, and they believe that he is an incarnation of Lord Vishnu, the ancient Hindu god Vishnu, which comes from Vishnu, all the different scriptures. So Jambheshwar is accepted as one of the new gods. And Jambheshwar, when he started this new tradition of Bishnoi in 1450s, he gives 29 rules, almost like 29 commandments, 29 new rules to live by. And one of the rules is to not cut any tree. Any green tree should not be cut. And Khejarli is the one major tree in the desert environment. So they have to protect these trees almost like their religion. It's their commandment from their guru that they have to protect it, even with the sacrifice of their own lives. So that's what they did when the soldiers came in 1700s, almost like after 300 years. Yeah.
Now, may I ask you, in the story, you say the king wanted the trees.
Right.
Was the king not Hindu, or did he not understand? What was the motive there?
Right. King was also Hindu, but like I think most, I know.
Most kings.
I hesitate a bit, but most kings, politicians, they worry about their power, their new buildings, the huge projects they want to conduct. So this king was apparently interested in building his own huge palace, and he needed firewood to be able to do that project. So he ignored all the teachings of Hinduism, and he sends his soldiers to get this firewood. But as soon as he hears this huge sacrifice of Bishnoi men and women, immediately he gives a new ordinance to ban all tree felling from all the Bishnoi villages, and that has been practiced. After this incident, at least the king got some wisdom, and he practiced some philosophy of Hinduism, and he bans all kinds of tree felling from that area.
So then, following this, the death of the woman, of course, like a martyr, you can say. Following this, then what happened? Legends and stories of the tale, or did something evolve from there regarding this relationship? I mean, obviously it's an ongoing issue for us as humans, our interaction with our own resources and our own environment. Seems to be an ongoing thing. Where did it go after that? And between the 1720s and the 1970s, did anything change?
No. So for that part of India, they have been practicing. The Bishnoi community has been very, very active all these centuries. Even today, there are almost every month there is one or two news reports that some Bishnois sacrifice their lives even today to save
even
some
today?
deer. Yeah, even today. Yeah, in Indian newspapers, there are all kinds of reports that Bishnois are very, very active even today to protect their animals and birds and trees and so on. And to that extent, that Indian government realized the bravery, the courage of Bishnois, and they have started a new award, environmental award, in the name of Amrita Devi Award. And that award is named after a Bishnoi, the first martyr, the Bishnoi woman, Amrita Devi.
Yes.
And the award also goes only to Bishnois, because Bishnois are at the forefront of saving the trees and animals and birds. So that's a very continuous tradition, and they are still doing it all they can to save their ecology. And even to the extent that I think when I was doing my research, I found that the Indian desert is one of the most populous regions of the world. Even though it's a desert, there is no rain for many, many years. Even then, they have been able to sustain their economy and their ecology because of all these traditions of nonviolence and vegetarianism and saving and protecting their animals and birds and so on. So all Bishnois are also vegetarians. So meat eating is prohibited. Killing of any animals is prohibited, and so on and so forth. So
thank you very much. Thank you, Pankaj, for that answer. We're about halfway through the program already. We're going to take a moment to do a station ID. You are listening to the Godspeed Institute on the Progressive Radio Network. We're going to take a short break, but please stay with us. After the break, we'll continue our exploration into Hindu ecological thought with Dr. Pankaj Jain. Here's a song by the artist Dijad called Sitario. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Godspeed Institute, live on the Progressive Radio Network. I'm your host, Carol Hallenbeck. We're talking about Hinduism, and specifically Hindu ecological thoughts and beliefs, with Dr. Pankaj Jain, Assistant Professor of Philosophy and Religion Studies at the University of North Texas. Dr. Jain, let's explore a little more of your book now, your new book, and what inspired you to write it, and also let's explore the conflicts therein regarding ecology, sustenance, and sustainability today.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, so when I was doing my PhD